I'd like to call to order the December 4th, 2023 meeting of the West Bridgewater School Committee. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A moment of silence. Thank you. The listing of matters on tonight's agenda are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at this meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting is being shown live on cable and is being live streamed on the West Bridgewater Community Access Media website, wb-cam.org. A recording of this meeting will also be made available on the wb-cam.org website. I'd like to take the time to introduce Derek Cashman to the committee. Derek, thank you for taking your time to be here and be our student rep tonight. Welcome. Okay, first up, we have one of my favorite things, recognizing some of our awesome students. Tonight, we have the pleasure of recognizing the 2023 John and Abigail Adams Scholarship recipients, the recipient of the Peace Poster Award, and our Project 351 Ambassador. Mrs. Page.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Hume. So it gives me great pleasure to make this introduction to all of you. I just want to give you a little background on the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship. The John and Abigail Adams Scholarship is a merit-based program that provides a credit toward tuition for up to 8 semesters of undergraduate education at a Massachusetts state college or university. For this scholarship, merit is based on student scores on the 10th grade MCAS. The scholarships will be granted to students whose combined scores place them in the top 25% of their district. Students must score at advanced in at least one test, the ELA, math, or the science, as well as score at proficient on the remaining tests. So I'd like to congratulate the following students from the class of 2024 for receiving the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship. I know a few were unable to attend this evening, so when you hear your name, if you can find your way up here, we'd love to give you a certificate. We'll ask that you stay here so that we can get a picture with the school committee after, okay? So Riley Bain. Congratulations. Allie Bassett, who I don't believe is here. Christian Bates. Congratulations, Christian. Kendall Beatty. Kiara Brache. Reese Bunker. Derek Cashman. I just want to make sure you have the right one. There we go. Congrats. Thank you. Avery Cloutier. Luke Destramp. Emma Dowdle. Ella Dunbury. Mia Estabrook. Christian Fredrickson. Congrats, Kristen. Hold on. I just want to make sure you're getting the right one. Actually, will you help me? Thanks, buddy. Derek Fredrickson. Rachel Ginich. Congratulations, Sarah. Victoria Hunt. Rachel LeBaron. James LaGrice. Aiden Mayer. Congratulations, James.
Thank you.
Michael McCallum. Congratulations. Brooke Robichaud. Congratulations, Michael. Noah Schneeweiss. Ryan Sergi. Catherine Spadia. Congratulations. Congratulations, yeah. Thomas Stapleton. Congratulations. Rochelle Victor. Anna Winchell. And Brendan Woods. I'm just going to get a quick pic. Who- How could I forget James Sheedy? Sorry, Jamie. Thanks, buddy. Congratulations. Yeah, do you want to go behind the school committee? Then they won't have to move. That'll be good. Do you guys mind just walking behind? You can come this way.
You guys can lift us up on the shoulders.
Excuse me. You stand with them? Yes. Safety first. I think we're good. Sorry, Jamie. Thanks, guys.
The Lions Club of West Bridgewater sponsors the Lion Club International Peace Poster Contest for our district each year. This year's theme was Dare to Dream. The theme should show how students dare to dream and make a world peace a reality. Please congratulate one of our phenomenal students, Maya Pombo, on first place. One up, Maya. School committee? Let's go. Let's go. There's a lot of stuff this time.
I'll send it to you.
And next up, our Project 351 ambassador.
Yes, thank you. So Project 351, just a short background. Project 351 is an independent, nonprofit organization that builds a movement of youth-led service by engaging an unsung hero from each of the Massachusetts 351 cities and towns. United for a year of leadership and service, ambassadors transform communities, elevate kindness, advance social justice, and gain the courage, compassion, and capabilities to lead change. It gives me great pleasure to congratulate Alexander Edgerly, who is a West Bridgewater representative and recipient. You know the drill.
Just want to say congratulations to all of our students and to all of our families. It's so great to have so many people represented tonight. for your hard work and achievement, so congratulations.
Congratulations from the school committee as well, and of course, everyone is welcome to stay for the remainder of our meeting, but if anyone would like to leave, we'll take a 5-minute break so you can do so. '23 school committee meeting. Next on our agenda, we have donations for the Howard Trust.
So thank you for the opportunity. I just want to be able to let school committee know of the Howard Board of Trustees and some of the funds that they donate to our staff and students to allow for some programs. So already this fall, they have donated $4,200 for the purchase of new and updated robotics equipment and materials. This grant will provide many students at the middle senior high school the experience of working with innovative and up-to-date materials, as well as help our robotics clubs grow, which is awesome. And our hope is to, pass along some of the older equipment down to the elementary schools for some STEM. They also donated $1,000 to fund part of the bus fees for a field trip to the Edward Kennedy Institute. Our students will have the opportunity to put on a full-scale Senate floor simulation to connect to the 8th grade civic curriculum, as well as science, as the topic of the simulation is climate change. So pretty cool experience, so we're really thankful to them. And they also help with student council in transportation costs, so they were able to attend the CMAS conferences in the Southeast Coast. So we just want to take the opportunity to thank the Howard Board for their continued support of the students of West Bridgewater. The trustees have assisted our teachers and students in enhancing their experience in West Bridgewater. We're excited and grateful for the funds that they have forwarded to us so far. Thank you.
We hear a lot about end of the year with scholarships. They do a wonderful job providing scholarships for our graduating seniors, but it's programs like this that help our kids every single day. And I know at the elementary level, they've made donations to the STEM elementary programs through the Lego, which is a little similar, but at a more age-appropriate level for them. So we're very, very thankful.
Absolutely. All right, next on the agenda is the approval of our meeting minutes from our October 30th meeting. I'd like to make a motion to approve the October 30th meeting minutes as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, moving right along, superintendent's update,
Okay.
Mr. Broadwell.
Mrs. Page is going to read some information from Ms. Hamill, provide some recap of the fall sports.
Thank you. Ms. Hamill was unable to be here this evening, so she sent along an update from the fall season. Congratulations to all our fall athletes. As an athletic department, we have a lot to celebrate. Here are some highlights from our fall season. Unified Bocce. The Unified Bocce team hosted a tournament that included students from Dartmouth, Pembroke, Plymouth South, Bourne, and Foxborough. Congratulations to all our athletes who took part in the games. Boys and girls cross country. Congratulations to the members of the boys and girls cross country teams who literally ran up a mountain at their MIAA championship meet in Western Massachusetts. Both teams did a fantastic job against tough competition. High honors for senior cross country captain Ella Dunbury, who made history on the MIAA State Cross Country Championship, finishing second overall in Division III. This is the highest place ever recorded by a Wildcat cross country runner at the state meet. We are part of the new league this year, the South Coast Conference, and the awards came out this week. So the SCC League MVP was Ella Dunbury, the SCC All-Star Ella Dunbury and Alex Kelly, honorable mention Ryan Ginich, Kenley LeMay, Emma Pope, and Vivian Morales-Watkins, sportsmanship Ella Dunbury and Kenley LeMay, and the cross-country team won the SCC League Sportsmanship Award as a team, which is great. Field hockey, the varsity field hockey team qualified for the state tournament yet again with a record of 8-10-1. Unfortunately, they did end up losing in the first round to Hopedale. According to Coach Flynn, the team fought hard till the finish. The team will be looking to build on all their accomplishments for next season. SCC All-Star Abby Matta, honorable mention Allie Edgerly, sportsmanship Alexis Perez, and the field hockey team won the SCC League Sportsmanship Award. I think I'm most proud of the sportsmanship awards, honestly. The girls soccer team was crowned SCC champions. They finished with a record of 12-5-1 and made it all the way to the round of 8 in the state tournament, where they battled against South Hadley but came up short. We are so proud of their accomplishments this season. SCC MVP of the league, Rachel Ginich. SCC All-Stars, Rachel Ginich, Kylie Fuller, Kerry Gomez. Honorable mention, Maya Hebert and Samara David. Sportsmanship, Samara David. The cheer team wrapped up their fall season competing at Durfee High School in the pink intensity competition. Their performance was spot on at the same level as their school pride. Well done, Wildcats. Football team made it all the way to the second round of the state tournament. They wrapped up their season with a convincing win in the Battle of 106 on Thanksgiving versus Southeastern. The team ended their season with an impressive 8-3 record. The WB golf team was recognized with the Team Sportsmanship Award in the SEC. Aiden Delahoy represented the Wildcats in the individual state tournament. Honorable mention went to Aiden Delahoy and sportsmanship to Aiden Mayer. Volleyball team qualified for the state tournament this year with a record of 6-14. They battled through a tough strength of schedule with many of their matches coming down to the wire. They played a great match against Cohasset in the MIAA round of 32. SEC All-Star Janella Jacobs. Honorable mention Brooke Robichaud and Ava Harkins. Sportsmanship Janella Jacobs. Volleyball also won the SEC League Sportsmanship Award. So that's 4 teams already, sportsmanship awards, pretty impressive. Boys soccer. The boys soccer team finished the season with a record of 5 wins, 12 losses, and 3 ties. The team battled at the end of the season, winning their last 2 games of the season. We have a soccer player right here. Now that the leaves have fallen and our fall season has come to an end, we look forward to the first snowflakes in our winter season. The winter forecast calls for the boys and girls basketball to hit the courts, boys and girls hockey to break the ice, boys and girls indoor track to stay in their lanes, gymnastics to score 10s, and cheer to do what they do best, cheer. Good luck, Wildcats. The SCC honorable my cut and paste was bad. This for soccer, boys soccer, the SEC League honorable mention was Noah Schneeweiss and Dylan Spadia. The SEC sportsmanship was James Sheedy, and boys soccer was another team in the league that won the sportsmanship award. Ms. Hamill wanted to give a shout out to the West Bridgewater CAM. A big thank you to the WB CAM for live streaming our athletic events. They do an amazing job. Please follow them on Twitter to find out which athletic events are being live streamed. Let's go Wildcats. Twitter is at WBCam0998. Thank you.
So next, MSBA update. There's not a lot to update. We're still kind of in the waiting period, but I did talk to our coordinator from the MSBA today, and they will be giving me a call when we are officially on the Board of Directors meeting for December 13th. That will be virtual, so we'll do that through Zoom. At that point, hopefully they are moving us forward into the feasibility period. Following that meeting, we will have an orientation into Module 2, which is the feasibility, which we'll get more educated in terms of how to select the OPM and the designer for the project. Then our next upcoming meetings on January 9th, we have the School Building Committee subcommittee meeting on January 9th, and our regular School Building Committee meeting will be on January 23rd. So I think once we get into this next phase, it's really going to start to ramp up and we'll start to move forward. It's very exciting. I think now we're just in that waiting period. Yeah. Superintendents in residence. I have spent some time at the middle senior high school on November 1st and 2nd, and just last week at the Roselle McDonald. And I'm looking forward to my visit to the Howard School on December 13th and 14th. Each day I was there from arrival through dismissal. I did classroom visits, watched office interactions, worked with our administrators, went to lunch, all the lunches, went through recess, occasionally not all of them. I talked to a lot of the educators in the building, talked to the students, and just basically lived the school culture over the 2 days. It was good because I really wanted to do the 2 days because like the first day it was, I was very sometimes noticeable. And my goal is not to be a distraction, but simply to walk in and out of classrooms, walk through the halls, and live what was going on. And for me, it was kind of just like having a mobile office. I brought my laptop with me. I had meetings, I had parent meetings, I had made phone calls. So it really was not an interruption to what I had to do on a daily basis. And just a great appreciation for everyone's hard work and dedication within the district. I saw a lot of great things going on. And it was great to see it firsthand instead of just kind of coming in and out of buildings to live there for the entire day. So thank you to our administrators, thank you to the staff, and thank you to the students. It really was a pleasure. And my goal moving forward is to do this probably once a month, maybe just for a full day in each of the buildings going through the end of the year. It works for me, and it's great learning for me. And the budget process. It's hard to believe we're already talking that, but we've been thinking about it for quite a while now. Mrs. Grant sent out the budget documents to the administrators and to our directors, so they're working on pulling that information together. The business office has been very busy with personnel data, collecting that, looking at step and track changes that are potential. We're reviewing potential capital requests to the town. On January 17th, we have our second meeting with the town to talk about this year's budget and looking forward to next year. We're starting to work on the FY25 budget book, which should be a good resource for people in the community and families and staff. And we'll have our budget hearing on the March 4th school committee meeting, and then the school committee we presume will vote on the budget on March 11th, with Board of Selectmen and Finance Committee meetings the following week. So a lot goes into it. It's a very, very big process, but we want to keep people informed and get to the biggest needs that we have in the district.
Great. Thank you very much,
welcome.
Mr. Bodwell. Next up, we have the student rep report. Mr. Cashman.
Good evening. Just update on every school, what's been happening. For the middle senior high school, the drama club presented their fall performance of Matilda Jr. this past weekend. The cast and crew did very well. Students and staff participated in the Rock Your Socks Day last Friday for the International Day of Disabilities. There were some pretty creative socks and a sock scarf made by Mrs. Bragna, which was pretty unique. The middle senior high school garden club is up and running, and students are doing an amazing job of restoring patio furniture for the new conservatory in the Commons and soon-to-be courtyard. Plans for a garden are well in the works, and we look forward to seeing what we can grow. This winter sports season has begun, and we are excited to get out and support our student athletes. On December 20th, we will be holding our first of 2 Wildcat Pride breakfasts. Students were nominated by teachers and staff for exhibiting the Wildcat Pride core values. All students who were nominated received an invitation in the mail. The middle school National History Day and civics are underway. We look forward to seeing the great things our middle school students will do. It is an exciting and stressful time of year for our seniors as they have been receiving their college acceptances. Come stop by the guidance office to check out the bulletin board listing all the higher education institutions students have been accepted into thus far. For the Howard School, this past Friday, the Howard students and staff participated in Rock Your Socks Day to celebrate the International Day of Disabilities. The day was full of positivity and very creative socks were on display. This Wednesday, the Howard School will be hosting a book fair. Thank you to the PTO for hosting the book fair. Little Leo's is running our annual coat drive in collaboration with the Salvation Army to support families in need. On December 20th from 5:15 to 6:45, the Student Council and Little Leo's will be hosting a grade 4 and 5 dance. There will be a DJ, pizza, and movie being played during the dance. The Lions Club of West Bridgewater sponsors the Lions Club International Peace Poster Contest for our district each year. This year's theme was Dare to Dream. The theme should show how students dare to dream and make world peace a reality. Please congratulate Maya Pombo, first place, Maddie Leffert, second place, and Mackenzie Kilgore for third place. Maya's poster will be sent to the district competition to be judged in December. The Lions Club of West Bridgewater generously donated participation buttons for each student who participated and also monetary prizes for the winners. Congratulations to everyone that participated. For the Roselle, the third graders read the book Balloons Over Broadway and designed a balloon of their own. After designing it on paper, they wrote a persuasive essay to Macy's to try and convince them to include their design in the parade. As a finale, they created the balloons and paraded around the RLM for first and second grade to see. The student council is back. We had a record number of applicants this year. Some of the council's responsibilities will include running the Box Tops fundraiser, hosting drives to help others, and assisting with our school Wildcat Pride initiatives. On Friday, December 1st, RLM students wore crazy and mismatched socks in recognition of International Day of Disabilities. As of Friday afternoon, RLM students raised $710. The top 2 fundraising classes will win a dance party with Miss Maloney. Money raised will go towards WB SCPAC, Inclusion Matters. Spring Street. Throughout the month of November, the preschool and kindergarten classes conducted lessons about helping others, especially those in need. There was a focus on the themes of kindness and generosity. As a school, we did a great job demonstrating sharing with others. On Friday, December 1st, Spring Street staff and students wore crazy and mismatched socks in recognition of International Day of Disabilities. As of Friday afternoon, Spring Street students raised $405. Money raised will go towards WB SCPAC Inclusion Matters. And that is all. Thank you.
Appreciate that update.
Just a shout out to the Ms. Kendall and the cast and crew of Matilda. Went Friday night and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. They do such a good job. A lot of young students in the on stage and behind stage, so they really work hard, and it shows when they're up on stage. So, very proud of the effort of everyone, and it was a good show to watch.
Yes. Give them credit. Getting up there. All right. So now under business, we have the Inclusion Matters update. Mr. Schmier.
Yes. The mission of Inclusion Matters as West Bridgewater Special Education Parent Advisory Council is to build inclusive schools and communities. We do this by supporting families of students with IEPs and 504s and including regular education parents by offering advice, advocacy within the school system, and opportunities for education and community building through regular workshops and events for parents, guardians, and families. Our annual Rock Your Socks event, which celebrated International Day of People with Disabilities, was held this past Friday with terrific participation across all 4 West Bridgewater schools. The Board of Inclusion Matters is grateful to students, families, staff, and administration for helping to make this year's event a rocking success. With donations still being received, a grand total of funds raised will be shared later this week on our website, Facebook page, and through each school's newsletter. As more and more students with disabilities are included in our schools, we're all learning to include them. And not sure how? Here are a few tips. Be curious. If you or your child has a question about a person's disability, ask them. Their family or Inclusion Matters. Be friendly. Every person and family wants friends. Invite people with disabilities and ask how you can make the event accessible. Be patient. Some people with disabilities need more time to talk or move their bodies. Teach your kids to be patient and to slow down. Be honest. If a child with special needs isn't kind, encourage your child to tell them so. Kids with disabilities need feedback to learn kindness too. And finally, be brave. Students with disabilities are at greater risk of being bullied. Teach your kids to be upstanders and speak up when this happens. In the words of Nicole Erdix, inclusive classrooms support the abilities and recognize the possibilities of all students. For more information about Inclusion Matters and upcoming events, you can find us on Facebook at Inclusion Matters MA or by visiting our website at www.inclusionmattersma.com.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Schmier. Next up is Reed's Collaborative Annual Report and the Reed's Collaborative Vote. So in our packets, there's a copy of the most recent Reed's Collaborative Quarterly Report and Annual Report, along with a voting issue. At the Reed's Board of Directors meeting held on November 16th, 2023, by a majority vote, the board members voted to allow the admittance of 2 new school districts, the Brockton Public Schools District and the Whitman-Hanson Regional Public School District, to the Reed's Collaborative. This vote is subject to majority vote of 2/3 of the Reed's Collaborative member school committees. So pursuant to Section 9, procedure and timeline for admitting new member districts, as outlined in the Reed's Collaborative Agreement, I'd like to make a motion to approve the admittance of the Brockton Public Schools District and the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District as new Reed's Collaborative member districts effective July 1st, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Do you want to say anything about that?
I was, a member of the board of directors, so we did vote at the meeting. It was a unanimous vote. They did a, short presentation each district. We listened to them. We had some discussion afterward. Obviously, 2 bigger districts, especially Brockton. But I think that, the concern of a bigger district, I think, became not an issue. And I think there's a lot of benefits to having them. I think they have programs and space and so forth that we can use. We're already a member district at North River with Whitman-Hanson, and there's a good relationship there. And I think, in general, the board of directors felt that it was a positive thing for the collaborative.
Okay.
No, the only thing that I think I mentioned to you when we met was just capacity with some, with a district like Brockton, but.
And right now, they have a fairly small number of students using the collaborative, and I think there's still going to be equity in terms of, although they're big, there's a lot of smaller schools and districts within the collaborative, so I think there'll be equitable spots available.
Anything else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. Next up is the discussion on the student rep for the school committee.
Yeah, so one evening, I was trolling social media, and I was on the Massachusetts Association of School Committees page and saw that they had just posted an FAQ regarding the student reps on the school committee, which, I was like, oh, we have, a student rep that comes every, to every meeting and reads the update. But then when I started to read it and get more granular, I noticed that there was a couple of things. I think overall we're in compliance, but there was a couple of things that stuck out to me. And what I'll do is I'll go through this just so everybody has a baseline if you can't see it. It says, recently, MASC has received a number of questions regarding the student members on Massachusetts school committees. In order to clarify the role of this mandated position, we offer the following FAQ. So right there, I saw mandated, and I just kind of felt a little uncomfortable. It says, are school committees in Massachusetts required to have student members? Yes, under Mass General Law, Chapter 70, Section 38M, a student member is required. Okay, great. How is the student representative selected? The student representative is the chair of the Student Advisory Committee, elected prior to the first day of June in any year to serve in that position for 1 year by members of the Student Advisory Committee. And I think we talked a little bit about the Student Advisory Committee when we looked at the policy last year, and we said that we would revisit it in the fall, so this is perfect timing. How is the Student Advisory Committee selected? The Student Advisory Committee is a 5-member body elected by students of the high school or high schools of the district. What further role does the Student Advisory Committee have? The Student Committee is required by law to meet, the school committee is required by law to meet every other month with the Student Advisory Committee during the months that the school is in session. Must the student representative be a single designated individual? Yes, the student representative is the elected chair of the Student Advisory Committee. What role does the student representative play at meetings? The student representative serves in an ex officio, non-voting member of the committee without the right to attend executive sessions unless expressly granted by the individual school committee. They have the right to address any matter before the school committee. I'll get back to that. And then, is the student representative there to deliver a report? Well, the student representative may deliver a report if that is the wish of the Student Advisory Committee and the school committee. The role of the student representative is to be the voice of the student body on matters before the committee during the public meeting. So when I read this, there was a couple things that stuck out at me. Number one was the sentence that says, "The student representative serves as an ex officio, non-voting member of the school committee without the right to attend executive sessions that unless expressly granted by the individual school committee. They have the right to address any matter before the school committee." I know we haven't had that. We haven't had that opportunity to have the student representatives bring things to us in the past, or at least since I've been on this. So that was the first thing that I was hoping we could talk about, if that's something we want to move forward with. And then the second thing was, I know right now they're delivering in the last paragraph, while the representative may deliver a report, if that is the wish of the Student Advisory Committee and the school committee, the role of the student representative is to be a voice of the student body on matters before the committee during the public meeting of the committee. So that would also give them that voice to raise concerns as well. So I didn't, I know I've emailed you guys about it a couple of times just to get the creative juices thinking. Talked with Mark, bumped into Christine, and she said that the committee was forming. So I'm not sure how we want to move forward with that type of role. Because like I said, I think for the most part, we're doing most of it, but it's just the actual, having that one member and then also having that member bring matters to us.
Yeah, I think, when I looked into this and then when you initially sent it, I went on the MAC website and I started clicking around. And, it does say that, and I know it says in this FAQ, we can elect a liaison, possibly a subcommittee, to meet with the Student Advisory Committee so that they're kind of prepped on what's coming up on the agenda, so that student reps can go back and talk with, as we represent our constituents, the students represent the student body. I think that it's really important to have student voice here. I think we are making decisions every month on things that impact the students in the classrooms. So I'd really like to see us be consistent with not only what MASC is saying, but what Mass General Law requires, and really what's in our own policies. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's, I think it might be challenging to be able to find someone to commit to that role, and
Right.
But if we can, yeah, that would be ideal. I know sometimes it's difficult with the kids' schedules and everything to find a rep to come to our meetings each month. So for someone to commit to that, certainly worth pursuing. But
Can I ask, and I guess, I don't know if this is a question for Mr. Broadwell or Ms. Page, how it's approached currently in terms of student council? How are students elected? And I guess the question for the student rep is, are you even aware that you can have a voice with the school committee?
Somewhat. They proposed it in the student council meeting, just like for people to nominate themselves and then get voted in. I don't know. I don't think it was for this. They do that for other things. There's like a way to make that happen, but I don't think it was for this.
And in thinking of making it easier on the students to commit to it, I think there was a mention of every other month as the minimum requirement. Maybe we could allow them to come to every other meeting or something like that.
I can't imagine I know we're a smaller district, but I can't imagine we don't have some students who are interested in government, in community service, in, even pursued as an attorney or education. And of course, if that's not something that's of interest, it's a great resume booster. So I know students commit to a lot of things, especially athletics that are every single day. I'm sure there's got to be somebody out there.
And this is, it says open to anyone in the school, not just kids on the council, right? It would be everyone.
Student council's open to anyone.
Okay.
So anyone can join, anyone
Anyone
can
can join, okay.
participate. So and I think we've got an active group. I think we've got great kids. I think hearing their voice is awesome because we're doing this for them. This is why we're in our position. So I think we've got the kids and the involvement. I know Mrs. Page.
Right now there's 5, there's 3 for this, and encompassing five, so I think we just wanted to figure out how the school committee wanted to make it work, like meeting with the kids, you know what I mean? So it'd be a matter of just, I think, setting up the schedule.
Yeah, and if
How
there's a-
often do they meet, or when does student council meet? Is it,
So
Like-
we've always just had the student rep come and report, so this year was something new that we were starting to do.
okay.
So, they have the students elected, it was just a matter of how we wanted to, I think that's what we talked about, Carrie.
Yeah, it
how
was-
we wanted to.
Yeah. Do we want, do we want to meet with them every other month as a committee amongst ourselves? Or do we
Well-
want to suffice it in this forum, or?
I would actually propose.
I
and
think there's a couple different things that we need to figure
Yeah,
out.
I would propose, and I'm willing to make a motion right now, that we create a subcommittee, as we do for everything else, that's maybe a student liaison committee, or a student and community liaison committee, so that, when we receive communication, maybe somebody that can commit once a month, to meet with the student advisory committee.
And I propose we do that to meet the week before we meet individually, so that way if there's stuff that comes up that we can put on the agenda. And I think, I think all students would, be interested in getting some feedback and giving their opinion and thoughts. So I think that would work.
Great. So I'd like to make a motion that we create a subcommittee centered around student and community liaison. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? I think we kind of had the discussion, but any other points?
Are there any members of the school committee that would identify themselves to be on the subcommittee? Robin, you seem like you have interest in
We
it.
are eager.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm absolutely willing. My only time constraint is, as you know, I do work in education, so I would not be able to meet during the school day. It would always have to be an after-school thing, so I don't know. And as we kind of hash out the details of when the student advisory committee meets, it wouldn't necessarily be something that's conducive to my schedule.
it's even a little more tricky for me. I don't usually get here until about 6, so.
Yeah, I think,
Could it be more than one person?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
we
That way-
cannot make a subcommittee which
Yeah.
makes a quorum.
Yes, we
so
can't
that
have
it
3, but we
would
can have
be
1 or
in
2.
danger of
yeah.
violating open meeting laws,
Yeah.
so we can have 2 people on the subcommittee.
I can
Uh,
do it.
Yeah, I'll do it with you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That'd be
Okay.
great. Okay, so any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then should we make a motion to elect Christine and Carrie as members of this subcommittee?
Second that?
Yep.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, good.
Thank you.
And if you just want to go through Mrs. Page and
Yeah.
Mrs. Wilder, we can start scheduling things as appropriate.
And, I mean, it's going to take us a while to get on our feet, I think, figure it out. Call this whole year a learning curve.
I think maybe meet with all the kids.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
to your point about when students, because right now it's coming to school committees, but if they feel there's more that they could learn or whatever through government, then you may get other students who will be interested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we can plan it out for this year.
Absolutely. Great.
All right. Thank you. Update to the MASC Delegate Assembly. Mrs. Milton?
Okay. So on Wednesday, November 8th, I attended the annual MASC Delegate Assembly, and I acted as the West Bridgewater delegate for this session. The Massachusetts Association of School Committees Board of Directors recommended 8 resolutions to be voted upon at the delegate assembly. I will give you my 2 cents at the end, but for the most part, there were 3 resolutions that passed, 4 that were tabled, and 1 that was failed. So resolution number 1, full stable funding for MECO, passed. That was, the per pupil expenditure was high, and they were trying to give equity to children that may not be able to get it elsewhere. The funding is consistently having to be advocated for every year. And it was something that was voted upon 92-3, so that was great. Resolution number 2 regarding investigations and recommendations for transportation and bidding procedures, that passed flying colors, passed as presented with no debate on a voice vote. Resolution number 3, regional transportation, that one failed. Following a long hour-and-a-half discussion, probably an hour and 45 minutes for that resolution, we then failed it. The resolution failed to pass with 53 opposed and 27 in favor. There were 12 abstentions. My 2 cents on this one was it failed because they feel that our legislators should be fighting for this. This isn't something that we should be, they were looking to fee the students and the families, because basically the district, I forget which one, Hamden, Wilbraham maybe, they essentially had empty buses. Really the big push on this was getting our legislators to do their job and to fund this. Number 4 was diversity, equity, inclusion. This was to create a new DEI coordinator role, and there were multiple amendments presented on this one as well. Probably about a good 45 minutes to an hour discussion on this one. Most of the concerns were around affordability and budgeting. After a very rigorous and lengthy discussion with several failed amendments, the Assembly voted to table the resolution with 47 in favor of tabling and 34 opposed. Resolution number 5, the Mass School Building Authority. This one passed. After much discussion, including debate of a proposed amendment from Worcester that failed to pass, the resolution passed as presented, and the language was reflected to increase the cap from 800 to 1.2.
What did the amendment from Worcester attempt to change?
I'm not sure. I actually left at this for number 5 after number 4 because we had been sitting there for several hours, yes, which is going to be in my 2 cents at the end of this. But no, I'll give you my 2 cents now. I felt like there was a lot of people, you've been there, Donna, that go and they stay overnight, and this is a big, long process, and they're there. So it literally is a great model of our democracy, but probably one of the worst things to have to witness because, it was a great example of seeing things not get done, right? Resolution number 6, School Bus Stop Armed Surveillance Act and Enforcement of Penalties. This was also tabled after considerable debate. A motion was made to table the resolution. Resolution number 9 related to MCAS. This was also tabled. A motion was made to table this resolution on a voice vote. Number 8, safe storage of firearms, that was also tabled. Following the discussion, a motion was made to table the resolution. The resolution was tabled on a voice vote, and that one was to for the schools to start
Encouraging parents to store firearms safely.
doing communication campaigns on firearm safety. Yeah, so.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you for sitting there for several hours and witnessing our democracy.
It actually is a great exercise to go through, to be honest, and see how it all works. It's an amazing exercise to go through. It just, when you sit there and you're wordsmithing, with, little idiosyncrasies, and then to have something fail or to have something tabled after so much work has gone into these, it can be daunting.
And the ones that are tabled, is that like indefinitely like this, or was there a plan for those that are tabled?
They'll have to
or
be
resubmitted
re-picked
next
up,
year?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yes, thank you for being our
Yeah,
delegate.
no problem.
Anything else on that? All right, policies.
Okay. Move to open the following policies to review at next month's meeting. JBB, Educational Equity. JC, Attendance Areas. JCA, Assignment of Students to Schools. JH, Student Absences and Excuses. JHD, Exclusions and Exemptions from School Attendance. JI, Student Rights and Responsibilities. JIE, Pregnant Students. JII, Student Complaints and Grievances. JJ, Co-Curricular and Extracurricular Activities. JJIB, Interscholastic Athletics. JJIF, Athletic Concussion Policy. JJIF-R, Athletic Concussion Regulations. And JK, Student Conduct. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so discussion on this. This actually wraps up the entire J section.
Yay.
Which is kind of a landmark for us. Any other discussion? Any questions?
Nope.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now moving on to the policies that we have had open. I move to adopt the following policies. FA, Facilities Development Goals. FCB, Retirement of Facilities. FF, Naming New Facilities. FFA, Memorials. JEB, Entrance Age. JF, School Admissions. JFABC, Admission of Transfer Students. JFABD, Homeless Students, Enrollment Rights and Services. JFABE, Educational Opportunities for Military Children. JFABF, Educational Opportunities for Children in Foster Care. And JFBB, School Choice, as written. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so discussion, before Mrs. Milton gets into the discussion points, I just want to point out that the wellness policy is not in this batch, if you missed it. So we are not talking about that just yet. That's going to be in the next motion. All right, discussion?
Okay, so the following policies had no edits. We just updated the sourcing. FA, Facilities Development Goals. FCB, Retirement of Facilities. FF, Naming of New Facilities. FFA, Memorials. JF, School Admissions. And JF, ABC, Admission of Transfer Students. The next batch of policies had some changes. So policy JEB, Entrance Age. The guidelines for maximum age was removed, State Law 16. Guidelines for minimum age remained the same, and specific procedural guidelines for proof of age was removed and left to the district procedure. Policy JFABD, Homeless Students, Enrollment Rights and Services. There was an overhaul of the organizational flow of this document, but the content was essentially the same. Changes that were made were professional development opportunities for staff and clear language around dispute resolution.
And before you move on to the next one, I do want to say we floated this one by Mrs. Marble, who looked at
Yes.
it, and it's good to go.
Yes, thank you. JFABE, Educational Opportunities for Military Children. There was fair amount of wordsmithing that needed to happen for this one, but overall the content was the same. JFABF, Educational Opportunities for Children in Foster Care. Again, same thing, significant wordsmithing, however, same overall content. JFBB, School Choice, removed the preference to resident students for programs and classes. You'll see that that was updated, and updated for the protected classes. That was it.
That's it. Any questions or discussion?
So on the last point, school choice, you said preference for resident students. So that would mean that a school choice student would maybe be on a wait list to sign up for a special program once they're accepted into our
The way that
district?
it was originally written in the policy is that resident students were given priority for classes, class enrollment and whatnot. That was removed from the new policy. As we always say, once a school choice student comes to us, they are a West Bridgewater student.
Yeah.
So that's the new policy, is that all students, regardless of where they live, are treated as a West Bridgewater student.
I wasn't aware that there was a preference before. Okay.
No longer.
I don't think that we were actually doing that in practice.
No. No.
So it felt like an easy one to kind of take that out.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Move to continue to hold policy ADF, School District Wellness Program, open for final revisions. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so discussion on this. I shared with you all some priorities to consider for inclusion in the wellness policy. The new wellness policy that we've been kind of rolling around and the Wellness Committee has been looking at includes several, well, they call them goals, but really they're priorities of the district for us to consider including in the policy. Now, initially, the discussion with Mr. Bodwell and the Wellness Committee was to just take all of these goals and put them into the wellness plan, which makes sense. But in looking further at it, some of them really felt like priorities that I think that we need to discuss as a committee, whether or not we want to include some of the language in there in our policy, and then leave the rest up to the Wellness Committee to kind of iron out the details and the procedures. So I'm going to go through the list. I know most of you or all of you have already looked at it, so just kind of chime in as we go. And then hopefully over the next month, after the Wellness Committee meets, after we iron out which of these priorities we want to keep in here, our next meeting will have a final draft of this policy that we can put it to bed. Sounds good. So there's 3 areas: nutrition education, physical education activities, and other school-based activities. So under nutrition education, there are 8 priorities. The first one is students receive nutrition education that teaches the skills they need to adopt and maintain healthy eating behaviors. So I found this one to be important to include. I know Christine, you seconded that. So unless there's any objections, I'm just going to kind of move on to the next one.
Sure.
Okay, great. Number 2, nutrition education is offered in the school cafeteria as well as in the classroom, with coordination between the food service staff and other school personnel, including teachers. I found this one important as well, and so did Christine. Number 3, students receive consistent nutrition messages from all aspects of the school program. For this one, I felt that it was important, but I also felt that it could be easily combined with the previous one and just streamlined. For number 4, division health education curriculum standards and guidelines address both nutrition and physical education. Is there anyone that feels that we really need to include that one? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty broad, so I don't think it's...
So Robert, I'm just going to say, I
Yeah.
didn't understand that. I was wondering why your initials were there, so I apologize.
All right.
I was just having my comments on the side.
Okay.
So, sorry about that.
Okay, no, that's okay. So, number 5, nutrition is integrated into the health education or core curricula, e.g. math, science, language arts. I felt this one, as well as Christine, felt this one was important to include. The next 3 are not, I didn't feel that they were necessary to actually include in the policy. I felt that they were things that could or should be rolled into the procedural document. But if anyone would like to say otherwise, that's fine. I'll put them in there. Number 6, schools link nutrition education activities with the coordinated school health program. Number 7, staff who provide nutrition education have appropriate training. And number 8, the level of student participation in the school breakfast and school lunch programs is appropriate.
The training one sounds like it could become tricky if you require everyone to help provide this kind of instruction, but then also require that everyone has specific training for it. You might kind of paint yourself into a corner. So I don't think we would want to require that at this point. Maybe that's a nice goal for the future, but I don't think we want to give ourselves new requirements
Yeah.
that then have some, large professional development associated with it or something like that.
I would agree, and I think that this is something that probably should be included in the wellness plan in terms of what the plan is to educate staff who are on the front lines providing nutrition education to students.
Yeah, it's too open-ended, it's
Yeah.
like,
And just quickly related to number 8, we do have a very high participation rate at all schools in the breakfast and the lunch program, which is good. We want to just continue to maintain that, but that could be part of the policy.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think, too, this was written prior to free
Free lunch,
breakfasts
yeah,
and
lunch,
lunches.
yeah.
So some of these are not as relevant because, of course, the participation is going to go up. There's another one in the next, I actually think it's in the 3rd section that we're going to just probably take out.
And can I just ask you haven't reached out to Mrs. Grinder about these, right? The Director of Food
I
Services?
haven't directly,
Okay.
no, but I know that it's.
We will,
We
on
will,
Monday,
we'll talk
on
about
Wednesday.
it Wednesday
Yeah.
meeting,
Yep.
but we did talk to the administrative team today. We had a meeting. We went over these as well.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
then, okay.
Okay, number 1 under physical education activities. Students are given opportunities for physical activity during the school day through physical education PE classes, daily recess periods for elementary school students, and the integration of physical activity into the academic curriculum where appropriate. So I found this one to be really important. I think many of you know that recess and social emotional health is kind of one of my soapboxes. I would like to specify, and I know you don't like the word adequate, so we can talk about a different word, but that an adequate amount of time for recess is provided for elementary students. I think that we talk a lot about the behavioral challenges in all of the schools. We talk a lot about social emotional health, and developmentally, elementary age kids should be playing. This is when they're learning to be social. And if they're not getting adequate recess time, not only is it detrimental to their physical health, but it's detrimental to their social emotional because they're not learning interpersonal skills. So I felt this one was really important to include. I don't know if anyone wants to chime in.
I feel that it's very important, and my feedback on the document was that one of the things that concerns me is when either recess or physical education are withheld from students because 1 or 2 students in a classroom are misbehaving, and it becomes a consequence for everyone. And that is, to me, just not okay, that there's classrooms that can't go outside for recess or have a break because there's 1 or 2 children that are ruining it, I guess, on behalf of everyone. And I think that's what was my concern when I was reading this. Taking it a step further was
Yeah, and I mean, and just to kind of piggyback, I'll take it even further that I personally don't believe that recess should be withheld unless there's a safety concern. If there's a child out at recess that is being
True, yeah,
unsafe,
I get what you're saying.
recess needs to be changed for them. I personally don't think that recess should ever be taken away because I think that the research indicates that in order to motivate students to do well, I know you shared an article, in order for students to be motivated to do well, you provide positive behavioral interventions. And so to just look towards a consequence or a punishment is just not, I don't believe that is something that we should be doing as a district. I think it probably causes more challenges in the long term for us. Did you want to say anything about the?
Well, yeah, just the article that, withholding recess as a punishment can negatively affect a child's relationship with the teacher, their feelings about school, their sense of self-worth. So, just if they're being punished for that, it just could hurt them.
Any other discussion on that one? All right, so number 2 is similar. Students are given opportunities for physical activity through a range of before and or after school programs, including but not limited to intramurals, interscholastic athletics, and physical activity clubs. That's important, keep that in there. Number 3, schools work with the community to create ways for students to walk, bike, rollerblade, or skateboard safely to and from school. Did you want to talk about this one, Christine? I know this is one that was important to you.
I don't see many kids ride their bikes to school. I would hope, since I would hope to be, we could push more kids to bike or feel safe to walk to school. So.
Okay. And then number 4 and 5, schools encourage parents and guardians to support their children's participation in physical activity, to be physically active role models, and to include physical activity in family events. And then number 5, schools provide training to enable staff to promote enjoyable lifelong physical activity among students. So to me, I didn't put my initials next to these because I felt like these were a little more granular and could be included in the wellness plan. Any other thoughts on those? All right, we're in the home stretch. Last 4 under other school-based activities. Number 1, an adequate amount of time is allowed for students to eat meals in adequate lunchroom facilities. So I felt this one was important. Again, it's not just social and emotional health. I mean, I know we deal with the issue of kids on their phones at lunch, but at least at the elementary level, again, this is another social opportunity. And not to mention, if we're rushing to eat, that's not teaching good eating habits. So I know you had some thoughts
I
on
do,
that.
yeah. So for this one, I do like that. I do agree that it should be there, but I don't feel that the best, maybe we could think of a different term than adequate, because to me, the term adequate well, first of all, it's used twice in the same sentence, which I don't like. But to me, adequate just seems like we're doing the bare minimum of what's required. Like, to me, it just isn't a strong word. And then third, I want to make sure that our students are given adequate time to purchase food, to eat the food, that they're not being held back in their classrooms again for the same thing like with the recess, because there was a few disturbances or something and kids aren't able to get down to a cafeteria to get their snacks or their breakfast or whatever it is that they're getting, lunch, and that they have the time that they can actually sit and eat it. I know there is, like you said, Mr. Bodwell, there's an increased, with free lunches and meals, there's more students that are going through these lines, and are they actually getting that time to actually sit down and eat the food and digest it, or are they just barely getting there? So there was a couple of things I had on that. One was, making sure that they're given the right amount of time, but also, the practice of how we're doing it, and then that word adequate. That was just my feedback.
Do kids get to pick their food before they go to lunch, or?
There's an electronic order form,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know.
No.
Elementary school, I can only speak to that. They have the choices in the morning, so it's like the hot lunch, so there may be two
Yeah.
choices, and they can pick the fun lunch. So they make those choices ahead of time, and then they're in line by class based on what they're ordered, so like all the fun lunches are out first.
Okay.
So they get, just for organization in the kitchen and Spring Street, it's a little bit more hand-holding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very organized and they pick ahead of time.
Same thing, they do a Google order for them in the morning for their lunch, and then snack is like 3 or 4 options, so snack, that line goes very fast. And they Google form in the morning to,
Pick what they want. And was this started this year? This?
Google form
Yeah.
started this year, last year was pretty good, just
Yeah.
seems to be a little bit easier, a little bit more accurate to try to stay to the form and make sure we have the right amount of overs, just in case we go over, but just to organize it a little bit better. So I wanted to have it too.
Thank you.
Because of the road.
Having been a slow eater when I was a kid, my kids are kind of slow eaters too. Providing adequate time is important, but you don't want to cut into educational time,
Right.
you don't want to extend the school
It's a
day.
balance.
So it's a tough balance to achieve.
Okay, number 2, all children who participate in subsidized food programs are able to obtain food in a non-stigmatizing manner. If this were relevant, I would endorse it, but it's not really relevant anymore, considering all of the lunches and breakfasts are free.
You can thank our representatives for that.
Number 3, environmentally friendly practices such as the use of locally grown and seasonal foods, school gardens, and non-disposable tableware have been considered and implemented where appropriate. I felt this was important as well. I'm always looking to make things more environmentally friendly, and I think we're already doing that.
And we have two representatives from Vineyard Farms on the committee, and Mrs. Grinder does an outstanding job sourcing from local places.
Nice.
Great. Oh, I've actually heard about it. I've heard about it from my youngest. How exciting it is. Number 4, physical activities and/or nutrition services or programs designed to benefit staff health have been considered and, to the extent practical, implemented. So again, I felt like this one could be included in the procedural document. Any further discussion? All right, we can think about that word adequate when we work on the policy. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are done with policies.
All right,
Oh,
thank you
But I'm next.
very much. You're still up for
Yeah,
warrants.
the following warrants were issued and paid for the fiscal year 2024. Bill warrants, November 2nd, 2023, $131,234.73. November 9th, 2023, $73,134.75. November 16th, 2023, $104,813.74. November 23rd, 2023, $137,721.10. And on November 30th, 2023, there was no warrant. Payroll warrants, November 10th, 2023, $646,302.76, and November 22nd, 2023, $581,132.81. As always, all warrants are public record, and once signed, are available in the Selectman's office for review.
All right, thank you very much. Public comment. Members of the audience wishing to address the committee may do so at this time. Audience members shall limit their comments to 3 minutes and are reminded that public comment is not a discussion, debate, or dialogue between individuals and the school committee. Personnel issues or issues that would violate student or employee confidentiality cannot be addressed during the public comment. All right, seeing we have none, we'll move on to the calendar events. District-wide, there will be half-days on December 13th and 22nd, and no school from December 23rd through January 1st for winter break. District meetings, the next 2 PTO meetings will be on December 6th and January 3rd, both at 7 p.m. in the RLM CAF. At the Middle Senior High School, financial aid night will be on December 7th from 5 to 7 in the auditorium. Middle Senior High School and Howard Winter Concert will be held on December 12th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. in the auditorium. The next athletic boosters meeting will be on December 13th at 7 o'clock here in the Learning Commons. And the next principal's coffee hour will be on December 19th at 8 a.m. in the Guidance Conference Room. The Wildcat Pride breakfast is scheduled for December 20th at 8 a.m. in the CAF and auditorium. And the next School Improvement Council meeting will be on January 8th at 2:30 in the main office conference room. My next ones. At the Howard School, the Scholastic Book Fair will be held on December 6th, which is sponsored by the PTO. At the Rose L. McDonald School, that book fair will be held on December 7th, again sponsored by the PTO. And the Prismatic Holiday Laser Show for all grades will be held on December 14th, again sponsored by the PTO. The Rotary Club Dictionary Distribution Grade for grade 3 will be held on December 15th. And the School Improvement Council meeting will be held on December 18th at 3:15 p.m. Should be. At Spring Street School, the Scholastic Book Fair will be held on December 4th and 5th, again sponsored by the PTO. The Kindergarten Polar Express reading with Mr. Bodwell, always a great occasion. It will be held on December 21st. And the School Improvement Council meeting will be held on December 20th at 3 p.m. Our next regular scheduled school committee meeting will be held on January 8th. 2024 at 6 p.m. here in the Learning Commons. And is there a motion to adjourn?
Before we do, I
Yep.
think we missed saying that the June 3rd school committee meeting.
Oh, yes, I
changed
did.
time.
Yep, I did. That was an administrative thing I wanted to bring up. We had realized that there was a conflict for our June 3rd school committee meeting because the athletic awards here at the high school are also at 6 p.m. that night. So we wanted to discuss about moving the start date for our school committee meeting till 5 p.m. that day. Is that a problem for anyone?
That'll be okay.
Schedule?
Yeah.
You can make it. I know you sometimes have
Yeah,
trouble getting here, but can make it work that day?
I found a way to work around.
To work around it, all right, we appreciate that. All right, so our June 3rd meeting will be at 5 o'clock. Now, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a great night and a great holiday season.
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you.